good. All right, Tyler, you ready?
Yep.
Three, two, one.
Welcome to another episode of Around the 412. We are part of the Pod Hub Network. I'm Tyler, and with me as always is Smitty. And today we are joined by Pirates' second round pick, Jared Jones. Jared, what's up?
What's up, guys?
Not much. Just happy to we recently went green, so we're doing good in quarantine. Yeah. What about you? How's quarantine been for you?
That's what I was about to say. Let's just start there.
Yeah. Right when we switched off to online school, school just got kind of easier for me. It's kind of just cruising by that, and then been making sure I've been working out 2, 3, 4 times a week, throwing 2 times a week, just trying to make sure I'm ready to play baseball.
That's what we love to hear. Also, I mean, we might as well start here since we're talking about quarantine. You've actually, I mean, a lot of high school guys, they come in, maybe 2 pitches, try to develop a third. You've already had 3, and apparently you developed a 4th during this quarantine.
Yeah.
So what's the process of that like? Just been adding another pitch?
Yeah, I always threw fastball, slider, changeup. Like those were just my main 3 throughout the high school. And then my dad was friends with this dude named I'm blanking right now. Mike Cosgrove. They played with each other in high school and college. So they got in contact and they were like, why don't we just try and teach a 4th pitch throughout all this stuff? I mean, we have all the time in the world. So been going to him for the past 2-3 months and kind of developed a curveball that's turned out pretty good for me right now.
Yeah, that's what we've been seeing online. Like the articles about, you getting drafted and you signing, which recently just took place. We talked about, what I just brought up, that guys, coming out of high school, typically they have 2 pitches they feel comfortable with. They'll try to add a third. You're coming in here with already 3 very strong pitches. And now in the quarantine, you've added a 4th, which I'm hearing a lot of good reviews about as well.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. We'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll have a follow-up question depending on what the answer is to this. Do you have like other friends or other people that have been drafted in the MLB draft?
Yeah, I'm really close to Pete Crow Armstrong, taking 19th to the Mets, I think.
Okay.
And then in the past couple of years, I've had friends who got drafted.
Gotcha. Okay, so then follow-up question, like I said, how do you think, your draft process during this pandemic was so much different as opposed to the ones that you've seen in the past?
Really it was really just a guessing game this year. I feel like no one really got to see a full year of what could be brought to the table by each player. So I think the most games a high school player got in was probably 10 games max this year. So I feel like just teams gotta really just gotta guess on what they're gonna get and see or pick on what they're gonna be picking within the past couple of 3 years.
Right. So was there like a lot of communication with the Pirates leading up to the draft? Like, did you have any idea that you'd potentially be going there?
Yeah, I had a couple of Zooms with them, but it was kind of just last second. Like I didn't think I was going to be picked by the Pirates, but they called my agency last second. They said they're going to take me, so pretty psyched about that.
And do you think maybe like this process, along with maybe your commitment to Texas, which we'll talk about here in a second, do you think that maybe you could have gone in the first round if not for like the pandemic, the way that it played out and everything?
Yeah, I feel like the way I started wasn't the best start for me, but if I got to play out my full season in tournaments and big games like that, I feel like it would have helped my stock up a little bit.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I just mentioned the commitment to Texas. So how tough was it for you to forego that commitment to sign? Like, what was that decision like? Because it seemed like it was a relatively quick process for you after being drafted.
Yeah. Well, I had a set number in my mind, and if I wasn't going to get it, I was going to go to college. I ended up getting it, so it took about maybe a week after the draft happened for for my agency and the Pirates to come to a conclusion, but we ended up settling for my number and Pirate now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Once again, love to hear it. So I know that this was also part of all the articles that I was reading, you being drafted by the Pirates. You have a Cole Tucker jersey.
Yeah.
What's the story with that?
I'm best friends with his little brother, Carson.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, just being around that family for a couple of years now. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted a Cole Tucker jersey just because, like, he was kind of a role model for me being up in the major league. So I bought one and got drafted by the Pirates. Like, oh, I have a Pirates jersey.
Throw it on.
Yeah.
Well, oh, that's dope. That's dope. Okay, so something else that we want to talk about, and you are a two-way guy, and I understand you've kind of formed like a little bit of a relationship with Michael Lorenzen, who is with the Reds. He's a pitcher. We've seen him play a little bit in the outfield. Obviously, being Pirate fans, we've seen him a bunch. Seen him at the plate. Is that like how did that relationship form? Did you reach out to him just because of that reason, you being a two-way guy?
We have the same agency in CAA, so
Okay.
kind of connected through there. And just always, whenever I had questions, I would reach out to him. He'd give me answers.
Gotcha. Okay. When did you at what point did you realize baseball could potentially be my career? Like, how long into your baseball process did that occur?
I would say my sophomore year when I kind of took off, had a pretty big velo jump that year. So I feel like I got invited to the bigger national stage stuff like Tournament of Stars, and I was invited to play in the Under Armour All-American game my sophomore year. So I feel like during that year, I really just took off.
Yeah, so like during that year, was it just like you just noticed that you just started to develop a little bit more than everybody else around you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So where was oh, another thing with you being a two-way guy, obviously, like with the MLB not going on right now, these proposals going back and forth, a big part of that, and even in the upcoming CBA, has been the National League adopting a DH. How do you feel about that as a pitcher that would probably like to hit?
Really doesn't really matter to me. Like I was picked to pitch. So if hitting doesn't really, like you said, the DH thing, it really doesn't matter to me. Like I'm getting hopefully to be able to play in the major leagues to pitch, not hit.
Okay. I just didn't know if that was something you thought about. I mean, you do see a couple guys now. We mentioned Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
Obviously, Shohei Ohtani, the sensation that came over. We mentioned a guy that was in our area, Brendan Mckay, who at least did both coming up through the system. Seems like he's pretty much just primarily a pitcher now in the majors.
Yeah.
But, I guess I didn't know how important the hitting aspect of baseball was to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I must say, I enjoyed that clip that the Pirates put up. Whenever you were asked like how many bat flips you've done, you just said one, and then you launched that bat after that hit. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was really my only bat flip, which is kind of funny. It was probably the best one that was throughout the whole year.
So what was that moment? What did that hit bring to the team? Like what was happening in the game?
It was a lot of chirping coming from the other side. So especially when I was pitching, I was like, all right, if I get one, I'm doing something special. So I ran down the line a little bit. Just chucked it across the field.
Did the umpires care, or
the umpire really didn't like me? So I thought I kind of like right when I got to home plate, I was thinking I was gonna get tossed, but I didn't.
I was about to ask like the reaction of the other team too.
Yeah, I got booed.
Was it an away game?
No, it was a home game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, got booed by the other team, saying nobody likes you. It was just really funny to me.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like a normal bat flip where you just like give it a little flick. Yeah. You literally just like threw it like a spear. So that was hilarious.
Now, what would you do as a pitcher if somebody pulled that on you, like broke that out on you? Because that's actually like a big topic. We love it. We love the theatrics and the emotion in baseball. But like as a guy that's also a pitcher, what would happen? What do you think like your reaction would be if someone did that?
I'd see him his next at bat and strike him out in 3 pitches. Like that's just the type of guy I am.
Love that.
I like that. I like that attitude. Yeah.
I mean that's the answer. You don't like guys doing it. Don't let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, baseball needs to be fun again. So if a guy can flip his bat, just make it more fun, strike him out in 3 pitches and stare him down a little bit.
I love that attitude.
Yeah, we got the right guy.
Yeah.
Okay, and also like, I don't know how much interaction you've had so far with the organization. You mentioned a couple Zoom calls, which I guess is really the way that things have been going now. What have been your first impressions of the Pirates as an organization?
Really, I have a couple of friends who were with the Pirates, Brennan Malone, Quinn Priester, and they said they love it. So I really just can't wait to get out there and see it firsthand for myself.
Yeah, Quinn's actually been on here as well. So is there a guy at all, and based off the conversation we've had so far, I feel like I know what the answer is going to be to this, but are there any guys that you've kind of like molded your game after that are in the big leagues right now, or like guys that you try to emulate or anything like that you seek yourself in?
Yeah, I would say there's two pitchers that I kind of model my game after. I'd say Max Scherzer and Marcus Stroman. Like if you see a couple videos of me, like I'm mixing up my windup, mixing up leg kicks and stuff like that, just to mess up timing, and then just the attitude part of it. I kind of mold my game after Max Scherzer.
Well, I mean, hey, those are two electric guys right there.
Yeah.
On and off the mound, as we mentioned, like pitching with the emotion. That's Stroman definitely pitches with emotion, and we love it. Like we said, we don't mind that.
Yeah.
Tyler, did you have any other questions?
I guess I wanted to ask, what's your favorite moment from high school baseball now that you're moving on to the pro ball?
I would say it was my sophomore year. It was round 1 of playoffs, and we were in a 1-2 ball game. We got a run in the 7th, and I was put into pitch in like the 5th inning. I had 13 strikeouts in 7 innings of relief pitching, and I walked it off with a grand slam in the bottom of the 13th.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great moment. Any level of baseball.
Yeah,
yeah. And I also I saw somewhere you had a perfect game in high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was in our league. Our league's not very good. I think I threw 73 pitches in 7 innings, and I think I threw 2 sliders, and the rest were fastballs.
Hey, I mean, I don't really think it matters what league it is. A perfect game's still hard to throw.
Yeah,
I was going to ask, like,
fun.
You say that, but have there been like other perfect games thrown in that league? Like,
we have, I think, every matchup, not every game, but like one series or one game of series, we have a no-hitter or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, still, don't downplay it.
Yeah, perfect game.
It's an achievement for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got, Tyler. If you don't have anything else.
No, I'm good. It was awesome talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Jared, we look forward to watching you progress your way through the big leagues. We look forward to you trusting the Buck and process. I got to get your information so I can get you out one of those shirts.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Jared, thanks for coming on, brother. We'll
all right, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks. Okay. See ya. All right, that was Jared Jones.
Yeah, I love his mentality already.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's not a Red, a Cardinal, a Brewer, or a Cub.
Yeah, although I saw someone today saying like with the DH, it would be easy to I think it might have been Regis. It would be easy to like reorganize the leagues or like the divisions. So like could that be a possibility ever?
I know that they flirted with that idea as far as like bringing baseball back, but I didn't know that would be, a long-term thing. I thought that was kind of just like for the return to play for the season.
Oh, I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
Also, anybody that's in here and has been in there I fully apologize. I did not have the live chat up. So if you try to ask Jared a question or say anything to us, my deepest apologies.
I just realized I should probably have it up every single time we have an interview now because I've got 3 screens in front of me.
True. But I try to have it up on my PlayStation. I had the video up, but there's like something else I have to hit to make sure I have the live chat scrolling.
Okay.
So anybody that's in here, hello, welcome. That was Jared Jones. He's electric. Go watch the stuff on him. Go read the articles on him. Although the articles on him are pretty much to say everything that we just asked him here. So once again, thanks for coming on. If you are watching this live, and I'll mention this probably at the end of the show again, We are really trying to build up the YouTube channel. We put out at minimum 3 new videos a week. We do our show live on here every single week as well. So we're talking at least 4 pieces of new content every single week for you guys. We just did a giveaway involving the YouTube. There's probably going to be more of that to come very soon. So if you're listening back to this as a podcast, please head over to the YouTube and hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're watching this on YouTube, but you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification
It's
bell.
free. Just hit the button.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't like
Yeah.
we used to stream our show on Twitch, and to subscribe there, you got to pay, right? I mean, you can obviously be following, be watching, but we're talking about like subscriber count. You had to pay to subscribe. Here, subscribe for free.
It's so
Hit the
easy.
notification bell. Every time that we put out something new, you guys are gonna see it. So,
But yeah,
anyway.
I think it was so funny that he wanted to downplay a perfect game. Like, I don't care what level of baseball you're at or how bad the league is. It's a perfect game.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to downplay that? That's so funny to me.
I will say it's just funny because like I never, hold it against anybody. Everybody's their own person. It's just funny. Like some of his answers were just like, yeah. Like he's just he's a laid back kid. Obviously, he at the same time you can tell that there's like a little bit of edge to him as he was talking about like if a guy hits a home run off me, I want to strike him out in 3 pitches the next time.
Yeah.
So he has like that edge. I feel like you have to have that as an athlete.
It reminded me
he
of
also like isn't very talkative.
Yeah, whenever he said that he wanted to strike him out in 3 pitches and stare him down, it reminded me of that video of the Louisville pitcher striking someone out and then saying like "F you."
When he said that, this wall behind me was about to get run through.
Yeah, it's like that. I love that mentality in a pitcher, but I also love bat flips. And I'm telling you, if you have not seen the bat flip that he's done, go to the Pirates Twitter or Instagram. It's on both, and there's
I'll post it. I'll post it when our show goes out.
Yeah, there's a little clip of him being asked, how many bat flips have you done? He's like, I think I've just done one. And he shows the one. He literally hits the home run or whatever. I guess it was a home run, yeah. And then he's walking down the first base line, turns around and just like double hand spears it back to the dugout. It was awesome.
Very similar to the in terms of when he threw the bat, it was very similar to Joey Bats in that playoff.
Yeah, yep.
But he was
same kind of
down the line when he did
same kind of energy, yeah.
Okay, so every week or every show, I should say, depending on how many we do a week, we're going to give you guys a new advertisement for a Black-owned business in the area for you guys to check out. Just our kind of way of helping out any way that we can, obviously with everything that's going on. So I want to tell you guys, we've stuck with food pretty much. I've looked around for other ones, but I mean, it's us. Like it's going to be food related.
Look at us.
So,
I mean, one of us is nicknamed Beefy. So
true.
Yeah.
And the other one, and mine could be.
I was also called Meaty on Saturday.
I want to tell you guys about a place called Fireside Caribbean Restaurant. So first off, do you like that type of food?
I've never had.
Really?
I've never had like Caribbean food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like jerk chicken and.
Yeah, I've never had. Unless I have and I don't know it, I don't think I've ever had anything like that.
Okay. Well, this place actually like looks good to me. So I remember the last time I was like, hey, you guys will probably like this. My taste buds suck. But for me personally, it's not for me. This time, this is something that I could probably get behind. They're located at 796 Penn Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA, 15221. They are open 11 to 10:30 throughout the week and till 8:30 on Sunday. They have a website that you can go to. They do Jamaican specialties for eat-in, or you can get takeout from there as well. Just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, I was looking at the menu a little bit. I mentioned like jerk chicken. That's obviously like the big thing. Jerk shrimp, jerk beef, curried shrimp, curried steak, curried chicken, something called oxtail stew, which, I don't know if that's for me. Now listen to this. They got goat. Curried goat.
That's awesome.
That might be where personally I draw the line. I'm not sure.
I think I've had goat meatballs.
Really?
Yeah. I think I've had them in Utah.
And then like if that's not, they also have fried chicken. So like.
What is obviously I don't think I've had it. So what is like jerk? When somebody says jerk, like jerk chicken, what is that? Do you know?
So you know what? I have this thing on my phone. It's called Doodle.
That's true. That's true. I have a computer phone. Yeah. But I've heard that phrasing before, but I have no idea what is that just like how it's prepared or what? Google will know.
Blend of cayenne pepper, cinnamon, and nutmeg to name a few. There's obviously other things, but those seem to be the main ingredients.
Okay. So is it just like how it's prepared?
It has like a little bit of a kick to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I love all food. I mean, you can say I'm probably one of the least pickiest eaters I know when it comes to food.
Yeah,
so,
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah. I'm sure I would love that.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some stuff in the MLB. I'm still surprised like that went that quick because I was like, we have more questions on here than we did for Chris Wormley. And I thought this would be like at least a half hour, but hey, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
He's a good kid. I'm excited to see him play for the Pirates someday. I'm excited to watch his progress. But anyway, let's talk about the other stuff.
He's hit 99 on the gun.
Yeah,
that's just all you.
That.
Yeah, that's just all you need to show me.
Yeah,
he averages 93 to 96 in his fastball, but he's hit 99. So by the time he gets up to the big leagues, he'll probably be averaging 98, 99.
I will say with that going so quick, this could potentially be a little bit shorter of an episode, but I don't mind that. So,
but the last couple have been like that. So
yeah, well, we split up last week to include
the
NFL with just Wormley, and then we had MLB and NHL on with McHenry. But okay, so in the MLB, I don't even know where to start because of everything that's changed. Like Manfred said, there's definitely going to be a season, and then he was skeptical about it. And then they put out an offer of 60 games. Yeah. And the players were like, just tell us when and where to show up. And that obviously wasn't the case because now they've countered again with 70 games, and they don't want the expanded postseasons this year and next year, which was part of the MLB's proposal to the Players Association. I get it, and again, I think that we're still definitely closer than where we were at, obviously. Like I definitely think we're at a point now where we can say there's going to be a season. I think it's just a matter of how many games, where the agreement's going to be. I think that it's going to end up being in the middle. I think they'll play 65, and I think they'll get full prorated salaries, and I think we'll see an expanded postseason for just this year, not next year. I think it's pretty much going to be like middle ground on everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be, but it's just so funny. They're just like little kids bickering back and forth.
In the grand scheme, what it seems like is they're like, let's break it down to like just dollars here, and on a much lower scale, it's like, here's $20. I'll give you $20 for this. No, 15. No, 18. So like they just they just want their proposal to be the one that's accepted. That's what it seems like. They don't want to accept the other ones.
Yeah. So is that what the tweets like Mike Trout and Bryce Harper like when and where? Tell us when and where. That's what those tweets.
Yeah, it was like every baseball player was saying it.
Yeah.
And then like that Chris Mad Dog Russo or whatever like got upset about it, like the players tweeting about things.
Why would you not want your players to be like an active voice in this whole situation? Especially people like Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. Like those are the faces of your league. You want them to speak out on things like this.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just ready for baseball to be back. And it just, you wonder what the long-term issues are going to be, which we've talked about. Like if they force the guys to play this year, what are the ramifications going to be when there needs to be a new CBA after next season?
Well, that's the thing. I'm ready for baseball to be back, but I'm also in my head, I'm fully prepared for there to not be a season. Like if it gets to a certain point, I don't want there to be a season and just start fresh next year.
I was at that point too with hockey though. Like I'm happy that it's coming back, but at the same time, I had just pretty much said, let's, just start over in October.
Yeah. Well, at least the NHL has figured out a plan and actually has stepping stones of what they're going to do. Yeah. But baseball, it's just, I don't know. They're clueless. That's all I can say is they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously completely different. We're going to talk about the NHL, so I don't really want to tie them in here.
Yeah.
But, one has had this plan in place and the other couldn't get it right due to dollars, like not even concerns about the coronavirus. It's just, I guess from my point of view, I'm looking at it as let's just have it impact one season. I don't want it to impact the following season as well.
Exactly.
Let's just get back on track. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, we're definitely getting baseball. It's just a matter of the number of games. However, apparently more than 8 owners, which I don't know why they said 8, but this is just the article I was reading. More than 8 owners said that they do not want to have a season.
I wonder why that is, because baseball Well, yeah, I wonder who it is, but I also wonder why, because games are how they make their money. Like they make their money from the ticket sales and the TV revenue. So why wouldn't you want a game?
I guess for those owners, they feel like the cost of paying the prorated salaries isn't
Worth it?
worth it. I don't know.
I mean,
but I mean, if 22
I don't
out
want
of
to
the
sound
30,
like I don't want to sound like a broken record, but don't they have enough money like to make
I mean,
it
yeah, they
make
could
it
take a
make
loss for one
to like
year.
make it for one season? Yeah, it's not like you have to do it forever.
And think about it too. Like, I understand that your chances of, like, people are saying the MLB is dead, and that your chances of growing the game, I mean, they've at least been put on halt, if not completely gotten rid of. Like, that's not happening right now. You're not growing the game. Like, no, you're not bringing in any new fans right now.
Yeah, no.
If anything, you're pushing current fans away.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're pushing current fans away, and people outside of baseball that aren't fans of baseball are seeing what's happening within baseball, and they're being like, "Why would I even want to be a fan of that league?" They don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, like the people that only watch for like the postseason and stuff like that when it gets like very exciting. Because for me personally, and I feel like I'm kind of getting off track here, but for me personally, I can't just sit down and watch any baseball game. Like it has to be either the Pirates playing or like two very good teams playing against each other. But in the playoffs, like I will sit down and watch every inning of every game.
No, I feel the exact same way. Playoffs is where I can watch all baseball.
So
During the regular season, I can only watch Pirates, really.
The playoffs is where you have the best chance of bringing in, new fans. But these new fans from the outside see what's going on, and what is the reason to be a fan of this league right now? You already have your other sports teams to get you through. You're just, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll pick up baseball. I saw it once in the playoffs. It seemed like it was pretty interesting. Let's see what this is all about. Hey, let's check out what's going on with the negotiations. Oh, they're not going to play because they don't want to pay guys full prorated salaries and also give them 50-50 revenue split. And
forget figuring out when or if they're going to play this year. Just ask Rob Manfred, why should anyone be a fan of the MLB right now? And I want to know what his answer would be, because really no one should be a fan of the MLB right now, which is sad. It's being like drawn on too long. They just need to come to a conclusion sooner than later, because it's the same thing over and over again. We keep saying it, but it's just they are so much behind every other league that it's just frustrating to watch. And Rob Manfred sucks.
I was about to bring up Rob Manfred because I feel like his time as commissioner is probably winding down. Because
it has to be,
even more than public perception, like that obviously will play a role, because that's where the money comes from. That's who your fans are. For the owners, I understand that they are his bosses, but who brings in the money to the owners? So at the end of the day, we're the ones supplying all the money for this league to even operate. Public perception is going to play a big role, and also from the owner's point of things. Look at what he's doing to the league right now. He's hurting their pockets as well.
Yeah, he that's why I keep saying I think he's clueless right now. He doesn't know how to handle the situation. I liked your tweet where even though it didn't come out like you wanted it, it's like you got Adam Silver.
Oh yeah.
Roger Goodell and Gary Bettman, and then like way down here you got Rob Manfred.
I had so many enters in
because
there.
He is so much worse than the other three. Like, we like to complain about Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell is miles better than what he is.
And it's funny because, not to say that Roger, like it's not like I'm a fan of Roger Goodell all of a sudden or anything like that. But a lot of the things that people like criticize him for, honestly, are like for the better of the league. Like you talked about like all the player safety stuff, which people don't want to see because we want to see these collisions. But like at the end of the day, it's better for the players.
Yeah, and the way he's handled this offseason, like with the pandemic. Like, granted, it is the offseason. They're not playing, so it's a lot easier on him. But as of right now, it looks like it's smooth sailing for the NFL. Like, they're going to be able to figure out, like, their camps in the season. And, I mean, we don't know whether, like, the fan situation. But that's, like, the least of the concerns. If they play without fans, that doesn't matter. As long as they're playing. MLB isn't even close to playing.
Yeah.
And that Rob Manfred is just he's clueless. That's the only word that comes to mind.
I don't even know who like the next guy in line is, because I remember like when Bud Selig was still the guy for the MLB, like Rob Manfred I heard his name, like kind of like this is the guy in waiting. I have no clue.
How long has Rob Manfred been the commissioner? I don't even know.
Not long enough where I don't remember it. So.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure how long it's
2015.
been. 2015. Okay. So his tenure will be 5 years because he's commissioner probably because he's not making it out of 2020. At least I don't think he should.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like when the CBA time rolls around, that's it for him.
Very well could be because
think about how many owners meetings are going to be taking place then.
Yeah,
they're going to be like, this
right.
guy sucks.
Yeah, honestly, he does. They oh my gosh, it's just so frustrating. It should not be this hard to figure out when to play baseball. Like, and obviously it might not be all his fault, but he's the commissioner, so he's getting the blame. Like that's how it works. I don't know. Just figure it out. Just cue the big cat gif. Figure it out.
Okay, so switching gears now to a sport that looks like it is coming back, the NHL. And speaking of coming back, Vegas has been confirmed as a hub city. So we don't know what the second one is going to be.
So we were right on one of them. Both of us were.
Yeah, both at Vegas. I mean, there was just, I mean, when you look at not just geographically, but also, you know, the attraction of Vegas.
They have the hotels.
Yeah.
I mean,
the accommodations that they have there, you know, they can, no one can compete with them in terms of that. So makes a ton of sense. Like you said, we both had figured that they would be one of the two. Now, I mean, now it comes into play who's the second one, because
I think it is narrowed down to 3. And the only reason is because of time zone. So Vegas is in the Pacific time zone, 3 hours from the Eastern time zone. So I think the last 3, it's either going to be Columbus, Pittsburgh, or Toronto. I feel like it has to be. So just because of time constraints when it comes to TV scheduling.
It'll be interesting to see, because all 3 of those places have teams that are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And there was a thing today, and, you know, that might have to change based off, you know, they can't be picky about literally everything, because I saw today that they were hoping to not have a team play in their own hub city.
Okay.
So, you know, if it's Pittsburgh, they wouldn't want them playing in Pittsburgh. Columbus, they wouldn't want Columbus playing there.
If there's no fans, what's it matter?
I don't know.
That's my question, because if you take fans out of it, it doesn't matter if you're playing in your home NHL rink or if you're playing at Brady's Run. There's no fans. It's just hockey. Like the home ice advantage is taken away. Like, yeah, you might feel more comfortable because you're in your home arena, but at the same time, like, there's no energy behind you. So I don't really see why it matters.
Yeah. And I mean, once again, like, getting real picky about things, we know that like some teams' boards play a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ice, whatever it might be. But again, that cannot be a factor in determining what this hub city is going to be and who's going to play there. I think that there's really not a way around it, honestly. And as far as Pittsburgh goes, I was going to bring them up because of the news yesterday with Pittsburgh, not Pittsburgh specifically, but Pennsylvania, Montana, whose social distancing is year-round anyway, and Hawaii, where they had the strictest restrictions immediately upon quarantine. Those are the only 3 states that have seen regression, like pretty much every single day for the last 42 days, which is about a month and a half.
Yeah, so, which is awesome.
Yeah, and you know, specifically in Allegheny County in the Pittsburgh area, you know, that's even I feel like more amplified. They've done great.
Yeah. So I mean, majority of the cases in Pennsylvania were around Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah, but I don't know. Does that play a role?
Also, I was going to bring up, it came out this week that Justin Trudeau, who is the Prime Minister of Canada, also said that the Canadian government is open to having NHL hub cities in Canada. So Toronto could be still in play as well.
Yeah, we were talking about that as well, because I know that they were very strict with like entering and leaving there.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
we
it
didn't
started
know
to
if they
use
would
that.
allow a hub city, but apparently this is 2 days ago. It's on all these media outlets, but
Yeah, it was funny because like it was like throwing them out there as a hub city, and in Canada was probably like, I mean, not if we have a say in this.
yeah. But according to their prime minister, they said that they're open to the NHL hub cities operating in Canada. So,
Cool.
so I mean, I just think because of time constraints, it has to be either Columbus, Pittsburgh, or Toronto, because you're not if you're broadcasting all of these games, you're going to want them spread out, and you're going to want that time zone difference. And those are the only 3 that are in the Eastern time zone. So I think, in my opinion, you can just wipe off every single city that's left as a hub city, and it's just between those 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw today Governor DeWine, is it DeWine?
Who?
From Ohio?
I don't.
DeWine?
Hold on.
Yeah, well anyway, he's like contact sports are allowed to like resume as of today.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
DeWine, DEWINE, Mike DeWine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, if I'm man, Columbus was my guess, I believe, originally when we did this.
Yeah,
So
it was. And mine was Toronto, I think. I don't know. Mine was Chicago because I thought they were going to pick Chicago but I wasn't even thinking about time zones when it came to that. Like I was, but I wasn't thinking about like TV where like normally if it's played, you want the games to start like 3 hours apart. Like if one's at like 4, the other would start at like 7 or 7:30. So like if Vegas is Pacific time zone, you'd want an Eastern time zone team or hub.
Yeah. Okay. And kind of switching gears. We'll wait and see what happens with the other hub city. But switching gears, a player of the Stars, Roman Polak, has said that he's not coming back when the NHL comes back, and he's already signed a contract with a Czech hockey league team for next season.
I mean,
apparently he's allowed to do that. I don't know how with like a contractually that works.
So is he just like released? I guess
I don't know
have no idea.
Officially done anything there.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to me because you had the like the lockout season when players would go play in like Europe and the KHL, but then as soon as the NHL came back, they all immediately came back.
Right.
Like
I will say that this is a good thing for the Dallas Stars, though.
Yeah, Roman Polak sucks, so it doesn't really matter for the Stars.
Yeah, I mean he's just a body.
Yeah, he's basic. Yeah, it's literally he's just a traffic cone.
But they got Steven Johns back late in the season from like the post concussion stuff.
Yeah, so, he's a local guy too.
Yeah, I mean he's an upgrade over Roman Polak. So
yeah,
so are you
for sure. Yeah, honestly, you can put like he's literally a traffic cone. He just takes up space. He's not really a real defenseman. But I mean, I'm sure the Czech league, whatever team he signed for, I'm sure they're paying him well to make him stay in the Czech, to go to the Czech league.
Yeah, and
I mean, if you're gonna play, like if you're playing in the NHL already, why would you leave if it weren't for money?
Yeah,
maybe he's a superstar in a Czech league.
I was about to say maybe he'll be like a decent player there.
Yeah, I mean Yager plays in like the lower Czech league, but that's because he owns the team. I don't think he'd be playing otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, last thing in the NHL, our good friend Jason Botterill was relieved of his duties with the Sabres.
Our good friend. Yeah, remember whenever he was the reason we made all the good moves in 16 and 17?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, so he's relieved of his duties, and Kevin Adams is going to take over there. But specifically for Jason Botterill, I am not opposed to bringing him back in the same role that he was in.
I'm not at all.
I think it was Rutherford's moves, but it was like Botterill's job to figure out how it would work salary cap wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like the cruncher guy. Like the Steelers have Con, doing that for them. He's the salary cap guy. I think Jason Botterill was like a salary cap wizard. And, maybe he's not cut out to be a GM, but at the same time, Buffalo is where things go to die when it comes to hockey. So I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility he gets a second shot somewhere else and succeeds. But for the time being, I would welcome, him coming back here in his old role.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it either. And you make a good point when it comes to Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo just sucks as an organization, like from the top to bottom. But at the same time, the people that said that Jim Rutherford is going to be terrible and ruin the Penguins, and then Jason Botterill is going to make the Buffalo Sabres great. Well, look at him now. He's out of a job. And I mean, we are doing pretty good right now.
It's amazing because Buffalo, you look at like their core group of players and it doesn't look that bad. And it looks like they should be doing better. And the way that they started off last year and even kind of this year, they look like a team that was on the rise. But it's just every year, maybe like 24 games into the season, they just fall off a cliff. And I think a big part of it is not being able to find a goaltender.
Who is their goalie? Halak?
No, they brought in Carter Hutton from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. I knew it started with an H. That's why I thought of that. But, I mean, yeah, you look at their roster. I mean, they've got Jack Eichel, Jeff Skinner, Rasmus Dahlin.
And Jeff Skinner, he scored 40 goals last year. They signed him to that big extension. Completely screwed him this year. He didn't have a even strength goal for how long?
Yeah, I know. He was a 40. Did he score 40 last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like 38 at least. I thought he was 40, but
was Wayne Simmonds traded to the Sabres, or was he on it the whole time?
No, he was traded from the Devils.
Okay. Because I saw Wayne Simmonds, and I'm like, when did that happen?
The
like, I didn't even remember.
Was sending him to a team that he had a chance to compete with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. That's so.
We were going to the Post Malone concert.
Yep. You're right.
So we were at Pepe's.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Another place that I'm completely willing to give a free shout out to.
Yeah. We don't really care who the owner is, but we'll just give a shout out to Pepe's. But yeah, I mean, they've got decent players. You got a decent core. I mean, it's not like high level, but I mean, you got some top heavy guys like Eichel and Dahlin. But
I mean, I understand it hasn't really worked out there, and there's been trade rumors for like 2.5 seasons with Ristolainen, but like he's okay.
He's okay. He's not bad. I mean, he's not terrible.
But my thing is, I feel like he would be better somewhere else, and it all just goes back to like, what does Buffalo do to these guys?
Honestly, you know where he might be good, and a lot of Penguins fans might hate me for saying this. He might do well in Pittsburgh just because of our offensive style of play.
I thought you were going to say Philly.
No, I was going to say here because he's a more offensive defenseman, and they sort of come here and thrive. I mean, look at. I was going to say, look at Justin Schultz. He was terrible in Edmonton. He was ranked as the worst player in the league by one of the polls, and he came here and he scored 55 points in his second season with the Penguins. Got him a $5.5 million contract. So
first full season.
Yeah. So, I think. I
mean, I would not be opposed to, what a mid-round pick for him. I don't think the Sabres would give him up for that.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think the Penguins would be interested, really. But I'm just saying, when it comes to like a style of team that I think he would thrive in, I think it'd be like a kind of like the Penguins, a more offensive style, very fast skating. Oh yeah, they have Dominic Cahoon. We traded Sherry for him. Yeah.
Curious to see if he ends up back there on an extension or something.
Yeah, he's an RFA, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They have Jimmy Vesey. I forgot about that. What a bum. Remember with the hype signing him out of college? Yeah.
We were one of the finalists.
Yeah. They have Brandon Montour, who used to be okay. Michael Frolik. He was okay on the Flames.
Yeah, he's a shell now.
Marcus Johansson.
Good player.
I would say he was a good player. I mean, they've got decent players. I just don't see why they can't put it all together. I mean, I guess it is a goalie. It's a goalie issue. Do they want Tristan Jarry? How bad do you want Tristan Jarry?
Is that how we're getting Ristolainen? Not straight up, obviously, but
no, Ristolainen in a first.
Part of a deal.
Hey, our boy was looking at the Vezina for a little bit, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although our other goalie unfollowed the team on Instagram, so Matt Murray.
Wait, what he did?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. When did
Yeah.
that happen?
Somebody tweeted about it, and so I actually looked at it, and he did. If he was, I mean, I guess who even knows if he? They probably looked into it to make sure he was following them at one point, but he definitely doesn't follow them now.
Huh. I wonder why.
But Gino doesn't follow the Penguins, but I guess he never did, so it's a bigger deal that Murray was, but then he unfollowed them.
Maybe it's unless you make me the starting goalie for the playoffs, I'm not going to follow you back.
We can't commit to that right now. All right. Well,
got to get that unfollow. I got to keep that ratio down.
I don't know. But anyway, I forgot. I didn't even have that in here. But when
they have Matt Hunwick. I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
They have Matt Hunwick.
Okay. There are a couple talking points in the NFL. None of them, I don't think they will get too deep into. It's kind of just bullet point stuff. Deebo Samuel is going to be out for about 12 weeks after he broke his foot. 12 weeks to 16 weeks. 12 weeks would put him right around week 1 of the season. So
did they say how he broke his foot? I didn't look into it.
He was working out with some teammates,
catching
some passes. He works out with that footwork king, but I don't think he was with him.
Oh, really? It must be awkward to break your foot just running routes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing hitting it or anything like that.
It's that Jones fracture, whatever they call it, which at times can be tough. There's a receiver actually for the 49ers, another one that had that. I guess when he went to get it surgically repaired, they kind of messed it up the first time.
Really? That would suck.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just a weird injury to have. It's like a fluke injury.
Yeah.
Jones fracture. All right, where is this at? Let me see. So is that what he has? Is the Jones fracture?
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's a stress fracture in the fifth metatarsal. Is a fifth metatarsal fracture. So imagine this is my foot. In between here is fractured.
This is now an anatomy podcast.
Between his pinky toe and his not ring toe, fourth toe. I don't know what you call it. It's a stress factor in between them.
And that's to keep him out 4 months, at least.
Yeah, I guess. Can't walk on it, so that sucks.
I feel like we say this I don't want to make a joke about this, but I literally feel like it's every year that we say this. Josh Gordon applied for reinstatement into the league. But for the first time, he'll be a free agent when he does get allowed back in, assuming that happens. He's only 29 years old, which is crazy.
Steelers sign him to league minimum.
A team's definitely going to, give him another chance. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to think of a good fit. I thought Seattle would have been perfect.
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Vegas.
Baltimore?
Maybe. I don't know.
Vegas. See, it's just tough because how much trust can there be with that guy right now to put him kind of in that environment?
Yeah, you're right. That's maybe if they were still in Oakland, but also that's the first time I think I've thought of the Raiders and said Vegas.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Have you seen that stadium?
It's
gonna be sick.
I didn't see an actual picture of it. I saw an actual design of of it. What's it called? Do you know? I'm gonna look it up.
Allegiant, I believe.
Allegiant Stadium. Oh, that actually looks dope.
Yeah.
I'm assuming so the roof can open up, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sick.
Great time to be getting a new stadium.
A lot better than where they were playing before.
Yeah. One of the worst, if not the worst. Probably the worst.
So are the Athletics going to get not to go back to baseball, but are the Athletics going to build a new stadium?
I think that's a big thing. Because they were talking about leaving Oakland if they couldn't get a stadium.
Yeah, because that thing sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looks
although, if it's just for them, maybe they can do some things differently to renovate it, but
yeah. I couldn't imagine like Three Rivers playing football and baseball in the same stadium. I'm happy that I didn't have to watch baseball there.
I went to at least one game there because I remember at least one.
I'm pretty sure my first
Not a football game.
first game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my first game was at PNC Park. I don't think I ever went to Three Rivers. So, but like I can't imagine being a player and playing like a football player and you have to like get tackled onto dirt. Like, that would suck. But going back to Josh Gordon, I wish he had a full career because he could have been a monster.
Led the league in receiving in 2014 with the Browns.
Yeah, exactly. Like how many yards did he have that year? Wasn't it like 1,400?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a beast. Another person I wish they had a full career was Martavis Bryant. I wish he didn't have his issues, and because he was another stud.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, he didn't have 1,400 yards.
Yeah, I think Josh Gordon's a better player, but it was also
different.
the same issue. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, he also didn't have like as big of a role as Josh Gordon did. Imagine if he was getting those type of targets.
Yeah. Like, imagine if he was still on the Steelers, like our receiving core.
Yeah.
That would be nuts.
Brandon Brooks of the Eagles, who's one of the top 3 guards in football, tore his Achilles, so he's going to be out for the season. That is a massive hit for them. Just to, obviously that sucks. Sorry to hear, but to relate to the Steelers, we do play the Eagles this year. That's going to be a huge loss. That's a guy who they would hopefully have to neutralize Cam Hayward and company on the D-line, which they are not going to have now for that game.
That's what feels bad, man.
For the entire season.
I can't imagine tearing your Achilles.
Yeah.
Like, that would hurt so bad. Have you seen videos of it, like where it's just like it's like a rubber band and it just snaps?
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. Was it just like the Deebo Samuel just working out?
I didn't see. I don't know if he was doing team stuff or just like an at-home or gym workout and it happened, but I think it's probably more likely it was something with other teammates. But
yeah.
I don't know. So Dr. Fauci said today, I don't know if you saw this, that the NFL season may not be able to happen without having the players in a bubble.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I guess no contact essentially with people outside of like non-players. And also like
that's just
testing.
That's just unrealistic. I mean,
if he's because he threw in like doing daily testing as well. If they're getting tested daily and they test negatively, why wouldn't they be able to then go out? Like, what is the? Because I know that they've sped up the process. How long does it take now to get a positive, like a positive result or negative result after you're tested?
Dude, I don't know. I know it used to be 2 weeks.
But I feel like it's
probably quicker now.
Much quicker.
Yeah, but the thing that I don't get is that, like, I want everybody to be safe and healthy, but at a certain point, you got to think realistically, where it's like,
yeah,
like
I mean, we kind of like shied away from having these conversations on here, but I mean, if you want my honest opinion, and people are probably gonna like bash me for it, but like I've just gotten to the point where I know that it's not the flu. That's clearly not the case. We've seen the ramifications that this thing has had, especially on the elder community and stuff like that. But anybody's susceptible to it. At the same time, it's a virus, and it's not like this thing's just going to disappear regardless of what we do. Like it's going to be around for the rest of our lives. So, we need to essentially be around it and adapt our bodies to be able to handle it, essentially the same way that we deal with the flu, because the flu is a virus. I get that coronavirus isn't.
We literally get, when you get a flu shot, you're literally getting the flu in your arm. That's what they're giving you.
Yeah. I feel like everybody kind of needs to develop, not necessarily an immunity, but like get some of it, essentially.
Some exposure.
To be exposure is the word I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm with you. Like, people might get mad, but like, I think it's pretty dumb that people are freaking out whether there could be like an NFL season or like any sports season or not. But like, anyone could go to Walmart. Anyone could go to like Target. Like any of those stores.
Also,
like,
I think that I'm very pro protest. Those things needed to happen. But like, think of the exposure that was going on during those.
Yeah, that's where I just can't. It's not that I don't take them seriously. I take every like medical thing seriously when it comes to like this and the sports. But at the same time, it's like I'm just thinking, if you can go to a store or you go protest or anything like that, why can't the athletes play the sports? Like, you don't have to have fans there. And also, I mean, I have a little different opinion when it comes to fans. It's like, if the fan wants to take a risk to go to the stadium, that's where I'm like, it's up to the fan to go. So why not allow them to go? Yeah. I mean, people might disagree with me. I expect they do, but I think that leagues should just, like, when you buy a ticket, it's like, it's basically like on the ticket or like on the back of the ticket, it's kind of like a waiver. Like, you're not going to sue them if you get COVID-19 from this, but it's you're taking that chance to go, because I'll be honest, I would go. I mean,
yeah, me too. I mean, personally, I don't know if I've said this on here, but I've said it, to you and obviously my friends and family. My doctor has said that I probably had it. So, I was sick for everybody that was, huh?
You said my person.
No, because I was going to say I was about to say my personal doctor, but I meant to say primary.
So you just went with person.
So, yeah. My primary doctor said that I probably had it already. I don't know. I was on a couple shows during that, but anybody that knows me knows that I was sick for about 6 months. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and they wouldn't have been able to diagnose it as that at the time. I was well ahead of when this thing was recognized in the U.S. So
yeah, he wouldn't shut up either. He just kept coughing. So annoying.
And they talk about like the chest wall pain too, like when you cough and stuff, and that's how I went to the emergency room the first time, was because of that. So
yeah, and you blew an eardrum from coughing so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to laugh at your pain, but that's funny.
But that whole time too, like, I was going to Steeler games and stuff.
Yeah.
That was just last season. So
yeah, I think, like, I understand why people want to take precautions. I fully get that. But I think you also have to look at it as a more realistic sense and look at the world outside of sports where people can go and do these things. So what's the difference with sports? That's what I want to know.
Well, former NFL safety, who's now like a neurosurgeon, Myron Roll, was on Pat McAfee's show, and he was talking about this because, like, he finally it's funny how casual he said it, but yet he's like, yeah, I'm operating on brains again. I did 4 yesterday and 3 the day before, which for a while that was completely shut down. Like, everything was to COVID.
Yeah. Weird flex, by the way. Like, yeah, I operate on 4 brains.
Yeah. But he said it's at the point now where somebody comes in, they have COVID-19, and they know exactly what to do, how to treat these people, that they're not seeing many fatalities. Not a lot of these people need the what's it called, the respirators.
Yeah.
So, like, and they have essentially like a packet. They like, this is what we need to give this person to be able to get back to full strength. So they've made these type of advancements in the medical field, and obviously, like, nobody wants to get it. Like, you don't want to just get COVID-19 and be sick, even though you know you're not going to die from it. But to me, like, that's a thing. Like, okay, if they have this mapped out plan in the chance that I do get sick, I'm willing to take that chance to be able to get back to my normal life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I get that completely, because I think at a certain point you just got to look at it like,
not to get deep on here, but there's a difference between being alive and living. And right now we're just alive. We're not doing anything living.
Yeah, I think there's a certain point where, so at the beginning of quarantine, we all listened. We all stayed inside. We
flattened the curve.
We definitely flattened the curve. But I think you have to get to a certain point where it's up to people and not being told that you have to do these things. Like people have to make up their own minds for things. They have to have their own decisions, and I think sports comes into that. If you want to go to a game, I think you should be able to go to a game. Like if the league allows it, if the league allows you to come and you want to go, I think you should be able to go. I don't think that they should just say, like government should say no, you can't have fans. Like it's not. I don't think it's their choice. Like if the fan wants to take a risk, then they should be allowed to do that.
I agree.
And like we said before, we're not really at risk of. I mean, well, maybe you are now. I don't know.
No, that's the
Your
thing.
lungs suck.
Once because I've been like exposed to it now, so the chances of me getting it again aren't likely.
Yeah, so
that's what they say, at least. That's what my doctor.
But I mean, like with like when it comes to like dying from it, like we're not at risk, and there's not a huge percentage of people that are at risk. So I get like protecting them, but there's a certain point in our society where everything has to go back to normal, or else it's going to.
Otherwise, why are we here?
Yeah, it's just gonna stay bad. Like it has to go back to normal at some point.
Speaking of this, last thing on this, Zeke of the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott, other Cowboys players and also other Texans players tested positive for the virus. And it's like people were like, oh my, like such in shock. Listen, you test everybody, every NFL player, you're gonna find out a lot of these guys probably have it right now.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
once again, just getting back to it, you're gonna see people get it.
And so just because you're tested positive does not mean you get sick. You could have it in you and you don't even get sick. Like what was his name? Sean Payton. He didn't get sick, but he tested positive. So I mean, you could be tested, like a lot of these players and that they could be tested positive, but they didn't even get sick. So, and they're professional athletes. Their immune systems are probably 100 times better than ours.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm just curious to see like how it is going to affect these guys, like from a respiratory standpoint more than anything. You know, like how their breathing is going to be, at least coming right back. Like I know Von Miller had it as well.
Mm-hmm.
He said when he first started to work out again, there were some issues respiratory, but
luckily they have the off season to work on that. They don't have to jump right back in.
Last thing kind of just became like a big thing today. It has been going on for a while, but he's now officially requested a trade. Jamal Adams requested a trade from the Jets. Doesn't sound like they have any plans on going through with it.
Well, that sucks. I was going to say, when are the Steelers offering up their first round pick?
So he gave 7 teams that he would like to play for. The Steelers were not one of them. At the same time, he doesn't have that type of leverage. He doesn't have a no trade clause. He doesn't have a list of teams that he can give them. It was kind of just like a request, which, like I said, not only does it seem like they're not going to honor that list, it doesn't sound like they're going to trade him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I get he wants out, but team doesn't have to listen to him. So I understand where the team's coming from. It's like,
you know, at the same time though, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm probably just like, let's trade him, because how close I get that the Jets are in a little bit of a depleted division now with what we've seen with the Patriots. But I think, you know, that's the Bills division for at least a year or two. We'll see how quickly the quarterback carousel turns around for New England and what happens with Tua in Miami. But I feel like that's the Bills division for at least a year or two. And if I'm the Jets, I'm looking at it as, you know, what are we like competing for second, third place? I mean, I probably trade him and see what I can get pick wise. I'm definitely listening for sure. I'm not saying we're not trading this guy. I'm looking for, you know, obviously a first round pick is where it starts. There were reports they were looking for 2 firsts from the Cowboys, but that was last year. You obviously don't have.
Does he have term?
I believe it's just this year and next.
Then yeah, I'm not giving up 2 firsts. Unless it was like a sign and trade.
I mean, like a first, your current starter at the position that he plays, maybe a strong safety,
yeah,
and then like a mid, like a 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should at least listen. You're right. If a player wants out, I think you should listen to offers, but at the same time, you don't have to trade him. Like he's your player, so you don't have to do what he says.
You don't have to trade him yet, but like, you know, then we're going to get to be the following season, and we're kind of in the same thing.
Can he just like not play?
I mean, he would lose every single.
I'd say
so it's kind of like the Dalvin Cook situation. I believe it would be essentially the same thing where his fines are actually greater than his game check. So he's
really
losing money. Yeah. Like not only is he losing his game check, he's losing a little bit additional.
What's the fine for like holding out?
I don't know if it's dependent on what you make or what, but at least in Dalvin Cook's situation, it's like 15,000 more for each week that he doesn't show up than what he's making.
Yeah. Do you think the problem is Adam Gase, or is it just the whole organization?
So I actually don't mind their GM Joe Douglas. I still think he needs a little bit more time, like for me to at least figure out if he is the right guy. Adam Gase was terrible, though. I mean, we knew it from the beginning. I don't know what he did in Miami to warrant this, especially like with as much pull as he has in the organization, like not just as the head coach,
yeah,
but like having some roster control as well, at least influence.
Yeah,
I was completely lost, and I think his offense stinks, and that's supposed to be his thing. They're better on defense than they're on offense. They were a top 10 defense, not last year, the year prior.
Yeah, you're right. And I think whenever he first got hired, I mean, we all questioned it, but whenever he said that he didn't want Le'Veon, that's where I'm like, yeah, he's an idiot.
No, you should want Le'Veon, but at the same time, what's your offensive line look like first?
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, their offensive line is terrible, but like just saying you don't want Le'Veon in general, I just don't understand that.
Yeah,
why not?
I mean, watching Le'Veon last year, I didn't even think that he looked bad. Like,
I think he was one of their
similar to the same player.
He was one of the only bright spots on the offense, and that's saying something because he didn't have a line to run behind.
I actually kind of like Sam Darnold. I thought Sam Darnold was okay. They were above 500 when he played last year. Obviously, he had mono and missed about a month.
Yeah.
And, Robbie Anderson, who didn't get exactly as much as he thought he was going to, but got a decent deal in Carolina. Those three were pretty much it on offense.
Yeah. I mean, those were decent pieces, but yeah, they did not have anything else.
And now they've drafted Mckay Becton in the first round. They got Denzel Mims in the second. So, again, with Jamal Adams, if the line plays better, we know Becton is a very high ceiling guy. I'll be curious to see what he does right away. I think that he's a little bit more of a project than you look at the other three tackles that came out along with him. But I think he's got as high of a ceiling, if not higher than the other guys. But, I think that that's a nice piece for the offensive line. But, what's the rest of it look like? They pretty much brought back their entire offensive line besides him.
Did Mckay Becton play left tackle in college, or was he right tackle?
I believe he moved to left tackle last year.
Okay. I didn't know if it would be like a Jedrick Wills situation where he played right tackle and he might stay there.
Yeah. No, I think that he moved to left tackle last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Well, at least he has experience doing that.
Yeah. But it's like Andrew Thomas, who the Giants drafted 4th overall. He spent 3 years at left tackle.
Yeah.
In the SEC. So, I know a lot of people question that pick among the because everybody was kind of torn, who's number one, out of those 4 tackles, how do you rank them? But, I think it was probably safe at the very least of the Giants to go with the guy that started 3 out of his 4 years.
Yeah, it makes sense because, I mean, that's another team that needs offensive line. You've got the running back, you've got the quarterback you want, but your offensive line is terrible. I don't care how good of a quarterback or running back you have. If you don't have an O-line in front of you, they're not doing anything.
We'll see about the Bengals.
I mean, honestly, Bengals, I mean, I think they're going to be increased by a maximum of 3 wins, if that.
That'll put them at 5. Yeah, that's what I said is 5-11.
Yeah, like that's the most I see them.
But see, I mean, we're completely out of the topic that I even brought up. But this is the last thing we're talking about anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's the thing with this offseason being the way it is. Rookie quarterbacks, they make so many mistakes typically in general their first year in the league, and that's with having the offseason go as planned. I am very curious as to what Joe Burrow does in Cincinnati in his rookie year.
Yeah, because he's not able to work out with teammates.
There's not a position that needs their first offseason more than quarterback.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I just don't see. It goes back to what I said whenever it comes to why I would have drafted Chase Young over Joe Burrow is because Joe Burrow might increase you by a couple wins, but it's not he's not going to immediately make your team like amazing. You have to get other pieces around him to fix it.
And you factor in the way that like the pandemic has changed things. I mean, Chase Young's the safer bet to at least be able to produce year one because of the position he plays.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly what, like, it just keeps going back to whenever I said I would take him. You could get Chase Young and still suck. I mean,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Also, when it comes to rookie quarterbacks, I tweeted this a couple weeks ago. I like Joe Burrow a lot. I really do. But I just love Tua. Like, I think Tua has a chance to be better than any of the quarterbacks drafted this year.
Oh yeah, I thought you just meant like as a person the way.
Well, as a person too, I love him, but as a player, I love Tua.
Yeah, and I don't think it's fair, to kind of just like throw out the fact that he's a lefty and put that against him, because I get that there's not that many successful left-handed quarterbacks in the NFL, but it's not like he was one of those guys. He's his own person. He's a completely different guy than any of the guys listed.
Yeah, I mean, who are people comparing him to? Like Michael Vick?
Well, I mean, yeah, even the most successful ones, Steve Young, Mark Brunell. How many left-handed good quarterbacks are there even ever?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Young's the only one I would say is like really good.
Yeah,
I mean Michael Vick, but he was a different style of quarterback. Like I can't compare Michael Vick to Tua. No. But I feel like people just overlook that before the hip injury, he was the number one pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think too many people forget that.
Also, people talked a lot about, all the weapons he had, and I get that that's true as well. It's not like Burrow had slouches at receiver and running back either.
Look at how many draft picks freaking LSU had this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had two of his teammates go in the first, or two of his teammates on offense go in the first round with him. Yeah. So I just think people look at Tua and they completely forget that he was the number one quarterback because they see the season that Joe Burrow had. But you also got to think like Joe Burrow, if Tua's healthy, he might lose to Alabama in that game, and they don't get the chance to have that season.
What would be interesting is if Joe Burrow still had the season he had, like everything went completely the same, but Tua stayed healthy the entire year. It would have been interesting to see how the pre-draft process would have shook out.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, you got to figure the Bama LSU game would have been like a nail biter, like back and forth.
I still think that it would have been Burrow because it was Cincinnati. Now, if it was Miami, it would have been interesting. If Tua stays healthy and it's Miami with the number one pick, it's interesting to me. Mm-hmm. But because it was Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, kind of being the local guy there.
Yeah. I still wish, though, I could like watch an alternate universe where Tua doesn't get hurt. And I want to watch the rest of the season play out. Like, if they win that, if Bama wins the LSU game, LSU's not going to the SEC championship.
Yeah.
So it would change the whole draft.
Yeah, and we'll never know.
Yeah, I just hope his hip is like. I know they say his hip's good. I just hope it stays good.
Yeah, you just wonder about longevity. I think he'll be okay in the short term, but I saw a lot of people saying like, would you take an Andrew Luck type career out of him?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean Andrew Luck. They had a better line. I mean, well, obviously, Andrew Luck would have played longer as well, but just having a better line while he was there is like the Colts would have been in position to win a Super Bowl many years that Andrew Luck was there.
Yeah, I mean,
they only made one AFC Championship game.
Yeah, it was the game that they got blown out by the Patriots.
Yeah,
that deflate gate. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree because the Colts were kind of lined up, I think, as to be like the next like franchise from the AFC to have like multiple years of success in a row, like going to like deep in the playoffs years in a row, like with Andrew Luck, like improving the offensive line, improving the defense. I think they were like groomed to be the next like Patriots or Chiefs or like Steelers or like just be one of those teams. But as soon as he retired, it's like that completely changed. You're frozen? Uh-oh. Smitty? Smitty? I don't know what happened. I don't know if you can hear me. But you're frozen. Okay. Now it's just me. We're live on YouTube. I'm assuming that Smitty will come back. I don't know what happened to him. Let me text him real quick. What happened? But this is the end of the show anyway, so no idea what happened. I'm assuming YouTube could see me since he either lagged out or ended. But yeah, hope you guys like that. I'm excited to see what Jared Jones brings to the Pirates. Let's see. What happened? He read it. I don't know what's happening. I also don't know how. Like, do I have to pull him in, or could he just come in? He could probably just come in because I'm in his room. Huh. What's up, YouTube? How the fudge you doing? I'm Nate Shot. Just kidding. The end of this show is gonna be so scuffed. Okay, so Smitty read it. Is he coming back in? I have no idea. I mean, are we still live on YouTube? Hold on. If I go to YouTube. Live now. Oh, okay, there we go. What happened?
Dude, I have no clue.
All right, so we're still live on YouTube. I just kept talking to YouTube.
Oh, nice. Well, we were at the end of the show anyway, so I was about to do the outro. But
so Cody Exley said, "Hey, it's Cody Exley. Good content, guys, in our YouTube chat. Thank you, Cody."
How long ago?
I can't see that. I don't think I could see that.
Oh, well. Anyways, yeah. For anybody that's like listening back to the podcast and very confused, I'm sure Beefy explained it, but I just like lost connection completely. So, but anyway.
Wait, I think you hold on. I think YouTube might just see your face.
No, so the way it does it, if I'm on my phone, it just keeps switching back and forth as one of us talks.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. But anyway, so
that's so funny because I literally like you were. I kept talking because I thought you were just standing very still, and then when I was done, you didn't change position. I was like, oh shoot, what happened?
It also says my name is Herb right now, but
yeah, matter. I see that. But I thought it was my internet, so I checked and I was like, I ran a speed test on my computer, and I'm like, wait, it's not mine. And then you left, and I'm like, oh shoot. Well, I'm just gonna keep talking, so I don't know if he's coming back. But yeah.
Yeah, but okay, that wraps this up. That's a terrible way to go out, but we are around the 412. We are sponsored by Keats Barbershop, which is an old-fashioned barbershop located at 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA. Every Tuesday, he does $5 off for military personnel, first responders, and nurses. On Tuesday through Friday, he is open 11 to 7 and Saturday 9 to 4. Again, that's Keats Barbershop, 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA. He is back fully open. Thank God. Love to see it. But anyway, next week, 1 week from today, Darius Kasparaitis, former Penguins defenseman, is going to be on the show. Speaking of Keats Barbershop, I know Christian, the owner, is super excited about that. His favorite player growing up, pretty much invented the hip check. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But yeah, we're super excited for it. Definitely one of our bigger guests to date, I would say. So
yeah, a couple days before the show, like a couple days before Thursday, so Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll solidify time and tweet it out.
Right. Yeah, we didn't put a time in there. Tyler has to reach back out to him and get a time hammered down. Same time zone though, as opposed to this one, as you heard me mention at the beginning of this episode with Jared.
I was so scared that Jared thought it was going to be 7 p.m. Pacific, and we'd have to get back on at 10 p.m. Yeah.
And then I work tomorrow, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, that would suck.
But anyway, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Sorry for the difficulties down the home stretch here, but we will see you guys a week from now. And until then, bye-bye.